Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. It is a beautiful summer day here once again, so just hope everyone's having a good day. So if you've joined me in the past, can you just plop a 1 down below? I'd love to see if you've been with us in the past. So if you've been here with me in the past watching this series about how to get unstuck and looking at the book The Compound Effect, just drop a 1 down below. If you haven't been here or you don't know me, my name is Julie Nolenberg, and I just love jumping on and helping people live the best life they can. So what we've been talking about is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It is a great book. Yesterday we talked about writing down your 3 bad habits, 3 good habits, and just really reflecting on those. And I said that we would be looking at how to eliminate those bad habits today. So today I'm going to give you 5. I'm just hopping on to give you 5 great strategies to help you eliminate those bad habits. And they really are a game changer, these strategies. I have implemented them in my own life and have found them to be super effective. So if you know this, I'm sure you already do, but our bad habits are learned. So if we learn our bad habits, you know what? We can unlearn them. And so it does take time, but we can unlearn those bad habits. And so many times it's those bad habits that keep us stuck from reaching our goals that we have set in our life. So what we're going to do is we're just going to jump on, and I'm going to give you those 5 strategies. And once we look at those 5 strategies of breaking those bad habits today, then tomorrow we're going to look at how we can work some good habits into our life. And once you have those things in place, it really helps you accomplish that goal. That I know so many of you have goals in your life, and so many times we just feel so stuck and we just need a little extra push to get them accomplished. So here we go. Strategy number 1 is identify your triggers. And when I say that, I want you to look at the who, what, when, and where. What triggers you? Look at like one particular bad habit. Look at that list maybe you wrote down yesterday and look at one of your bad habits. And I want you to think about is there somebody I'm with that many times triggers that habit? Let's say maybe it's drinking, and maybe there's somebody you're with that always triggers you to have a drink. Or maybe it's look at the who, what. Maybe there's a what. Maybe you really tend to grab for sweets. And what is happening at that moment that wants you, that just gives you that thought of, I want to grab for a sweet? Or when does it happen? If you're looking at your weight and you want it to get healthy, maybe when you come home from work, it's the when, and that you really have a hard time staying away. Let's say you're a sweet eater. I'm just going to use that as an example because it's pretty easy. You grab for something sweet in from the cabinet. And then lastly, where? Are there different places that trigger these habits? And you really need to put this into thought. The who, the what, the when, and the where. What's triggering that bad habit? And all of these things that we're doing along the way really do take some time to reflect. And so you need to stop in your life and start doing some reflection on those bad habits. Well, it's the who, what, when, and where. Are there some triggers that are triggering that bad habit to happen? The next thing I want you to do is start cleaning house. So when I say a clean house, let's just take, for instance, the sweets. You really enjoy sweets, and you've kind of identified some triggers. And now I want you to go and clean house. And what I mean by that is, if that's a bad habit for you, eating sweets, go into your cabinets, cupboards, and eliminate any of those things that might be really sweet and tasty that are tempting to you. Maybe you're trying to really curb your spending and you're trying to get out of debt. Maybe that's another big goal that you have. And after you've identified the who, what, when, and where, maybe it's those catalogs that come and you look at those catalogs and you just really, you make your lists and then you go out and you order. Get rid of the catalogs. Clean house. So first, you need to identify your trigger. That's number 1. 2, then you're going to clean house. Whatever it is that is really stopping you, clean house, get rid of those temptations. The next thing is swap it out. Okay, so what do I mean by swap it out? Let's go back to our sweets habit. So you have identified the trigger was, let's say I really gravitate towards sweets when I get home from work. Okay, so you've made that trigger. You've figured out what that trigger was. You found out it's the when and where. It's like when I get home, it's at home, and then I'm really tempted. You've cleaned house. You've kind of cleaned out your cabinets. You've gotten rid of all those temptations. Okay, so now when I say swap it out, maybe in place, when you get home, figure out what else you could do in that place. When you get home, that trigger to just want to go to the cabinet and eat. Maybe you go and you just have a nice glass of lemon water, or maybe you decide, you know what, when I get home, if I just go out quick and take a 15-minute walk, that could be in place of that. Or maybe, you know what, I'm just going to grab for a great piece of fruit. I'm going to do that swap. So find something you can swap. And a lot of times that helps break that bad habit. It's one of those things that's a replacement, but it's a healthy replacement in this situation. And so then the next thing is ease in. Well, I'm going to talk about two different ways because of human nature. So number 4 is ease in. It's just like when you sometimes, if maybe you were a little kid and you went to a lake and it was really cold. I lived in Minnesota as a child, and we would go to the lakes in the summer, and you'd think that the lakes would be warm, but they're not. They're cold. And so the best way to get in is just to ease in slowly. Hey, Carmen, just to ease in step by step by step. And so as you continue to progress in the water, it gets a little bit easier to go into that cold water. So a lot of people, when they're trying to really break a bad habit, they find that easing into something, maybe going slowly, not eliminating the bad habit cold turkey, but doing it very slowly, helps them. Now, that is one type of person, and that works really well for a lot of for people. And so strategy number 5 is to jump in. Now, this is more of my personality. If I were in the lake, just easing in would be really hard for me. But so my personality is I just need to jump in. And so when it comes to breaking my habits, depending on what the habit is, a lot of times it's better for me to jump in. I had gone in a bad habit. I had really eliminated sugar from my diet. So I'm just going to tell you a personal little story. And then, you know what, slowly, it's so easy for these bad habits to come back into our life. And so that sugar habit, it really slid back into my life. And I kind of had to use these strategies to figure out my trigger, the who, what, when, and where. And I really started discovering when when this habit was coming back into place. And so for me, I couldn't just ease out of it. I had to just say cold turkey. But that's me. I just had to say no to sweets. And once I did that, it made it a lot easier. So that's just my personality. The two different ways that you can start eliminating those bad habits is kind of easing it in, slowly taking it out of your life, or jumping in. But then in another situation, getting back into exercise. See, I'm just being transparent. That became a really hard thing over the last, especially the last year. There were so many things in my life. I lost my dad, my son graduated, I packed up my house, I moved from all my friends and family, and I just exercise kind of went by the wayside. So I'm getting back in it. And for me, I have to, in this case, slowly ease into it. I have a really big goal to run a 5K before I'm 50. Oh goodness, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but it's my goal. And yes, I am going to do it. But for that particular goal, I have had to ease into it, because I can just tell you this. The bad habit was to sit on the couch, but I have just kind of eased back into exercise. I've had to do it slowly, and it's working. So depending maybe on the bad habit, you might just want to ease out of it or just jump right in and get rid of it. So once we have kind of identified those bad habits and started looking at how we can eliminate them, especially when those bad habits are keeping us from a goal, we can now begin to look at how can we build up some good habits. Because once we get those bad habits away, we really want to take time to look at establishing some really good habits to help us accomplish whatever that goal might be for you. So tomorrow, we're going to come back and I'm going to give you 6 tips on how to build some good habits. I am so glad you joined me the reason I do this is not to hear myself. The reason I do this is because I care. And I really believe that you can live your best life ever. That is my goal for anybody I meet. I've always had that just in my heart since I was really a young girl. I just want people to live their best life ever. I know what it feels like not to be living my best life. I've been there. And it feels yucky. And I really don't like it. And I've seen loved ones go through those times, and I don't like it. And the only people that can get you out is you. But I do believe encouragement and support helps along the way. So that's why I'm here. So glad you joined me. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We're going to look at how to develop some really good tips for getting those good habits in your life. If you found any value, please give me a like, share with somebody else maybe that's struggling, and I hope you come back tomorrow. Even if it's not live, I always have my recordings up. All right, have a great, blessed day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.